Moving to Los Angeles, the Lakers made a big time move. Now it's sending Jalen Horn Tucker to the Utah Jazz for Patrick Beverley. Beverley, a 40% three-point shooter in 5 of the last 6 seasons, while defensive leader who has only missed the playoffs once in the last decade during his NBA career, is looking to revitalize a Laker team that needs three-point shooting, defense, accountability, and some level of intensity that they lacked last season. Justin, I got a question for you. With this team the Lakers have built, they signed Scotto Anderson from Golden State. They get Lonnie Walker from the Spurs, who I thought was a horrible fit for them. An isolation player for a team that needs floor spacing. Okay. They also get in Damian Jones and take a flyer on Thomas Bryant. Is this Lakers cast good enough to support LeBron AD? Because I've heard you guys both say, so long as the surrounding talent is just adequate, they can prove to beat any team in the postseason. With Patrick Beverley coming in, where do the Lakers stand in the West?
I'll still stand by that. Exactly what you said. I'll still stand by it. One thing that I love, man. Okay, Pat Bev is this player that you hate to play against, but you love to have on your team. I've played baseball for a long time, so I've played against people and I've been on teams with the people that I feel that way about. And Pat Bev seems to just fit right into that for the Lakers. I feel like him going there just gives the Lakers this edge. It's not an edge of showtime, but it's an edge of grit. It's an edge of toughness. It's an edge of just I'm gonna steal your candy, man. Like I'm gonna go and I'm gonna beat you down, and I'm not gonna give a damn. And I love the energy that he plays with. He's not gonna drop 30 points. He's not gonna give you 25 points. No, but this guy's gonna play every second with his heart. And I think that's the kind of thing that these latest LeBron teams don't have. They don't have that guy that has that edge. I mean, you had Caruso, who played with heart 24/7, but now you throw in Pat Bev, who is has been a serious culture changer. He changes the vibe in a locker room in any team that he's on. So I think he'll fit right in. I think he'll change a lot in this Lakers organization, and I think they're going to be pretty fun to watch. And then he said it. He was like, I think it was a couple. Was it this past off season or somewhere?
It
Not.
was
It
a
was.
couple months. It was a couple months ago. He was talking with Stephen A. Smith, and he said, "If I'm on the Lakers, we're going Western Conference Finals."
But even before that, he even said somebody asked like, if there was one player you want to play with, who would it be?
LeBron. Yeah.
So
So I wanted to say, first off, when I saw this move, I said, "Wow, I really like this move." I would have loved this move if we would have got him on Miami, but that's a new point at this point because he's now a Los Angeles Laker. So when I saw this move, a couple things just started going through my head. Right. First off, I like this move. It brings the like you guys said, the intensity, the defensive leadership, accountability, because he will not be afraid to call LeBron, AD, or anybody out, because he's always said he just wants to win, man. He does not care if he scores 20 points or 0 points. He doesn't care if he has 8 assists, 12 assists, or 1 assist. He doesn't care. He wants to win. He's going to do everything the way he's going to do those gritty things that other players don't want to do. He's going to dive for loose balls. He's going to chase rebounds. He's going to defend 95 feet or whatever the hell it is. He's gonna nag you and annoy you and be a nuisance and be a pest. I love that from Patrick Beverley. He's a winning basketball player, and I love what Justin said. He's a player. When he's on your team, you love him. When he's not, you hate him. He's a player that I look at and say that's somebody that you want on a championship team because he's a championship winning player. He understands his role, he accepts his role, and he plays his role to the highest level that he is possible. Another thing that swirled in my mind was, is this the beginning of the end for Russell Westbrook in LA? Because we all know the history. The clips, the tweets, all these things, the comments were all swirling when this trade was made. Russell Westbrook saying during an interview, a post game interview or whatever it was, "Man, Pat Bev is tricking y'all. He just running around doing nothing." To paraphrase. Um, I I think so. If I had to lean on, I think Russell Westbrook's going to be on his way out. I think I think Patrick Beverley is enough of a leader on a team that he wouldn't have a problem with Russell Westbrook. I think he would accept it. I think he would accept his role and be like, you know what, Russ, it's in the past. We played basketball. We both wanted to compete and win. It's in the past. Let's shake hands and let's go try and win a championship. I don't think Russell Westbrook will do that. I think he's in his. I think he thinks that Pat does his stuff intentionally, and I just don't. I think he'd look at him cross-eyed the whole time, and you don't need that in your. It'd be like Kyrie in Brooklyn. He's going to mess up that chemistry and break that team up. Excuse me. So I think Russ needs to go. And I was looking at some trade packages that are still out there that they can go get. If there was one that I would say Lakers dive on it now, it is the Indiana Pacers one where they are able to get a Buddy Hield and a Miles Turner. If you get Buddy Hield, he's a sharpshooter for LeBron, and LeBron will love having that. If you get and you get Miles Turner in that, he can play the 4, he can play the 5, whichever one AD doesn't want to play. He can make the occasional 3-point shot. I know John's like the stats will fool you, but he can knock down an occasional 3-point shot if he's left open, and that's all you really need from him. He can play defense at a good level. He's a good rim protector. He's got a midi game. I forget what his. I think he's a good free throw percentage shooter for a big man.
He doesn't really go there often.
He doesn't go. Yeah. So yeah, I would love that deal if they could get that with trade Russ to Indiana and get those 2 players. Get Russ off your team. Sometimes it's a negative can turn into a positive. If you minus one, subtraction by addition is what they call it. Get rid of a player so that your team is better. Russ needs to go. He's not a winning player. He's not going to be a part of a winning culture on a championship team. He's just not. So I love the move. Westbrook's got to go, and let's make a deal. And I told you, I said the Lakers got to move in their back pocket. The Pat Bev move is not the move. I think that was their backup plan because they can't get Kyrie now. I think that the move that they're going to go on is that Indiana Pacers deal. I think that is the move they have in their back pocket, and they're going to work to make that deal done. Genie Bus, just give up one of those first-round draft picks. Who gives a crap? Whatever. You're trying to win now. Let's go.
Yeah, I don't think it's Genie Bus. I think it's more so the genius that's building this Lakers roster, and that's a hint of sarcasm. Rob Pelinka is a terrible GM, terrific agent. But one of the funny things, first off, Pat Beverley revitalizes what the Lakers need. But Rob Pelinka let Alex Caruso go just to sign Taylor Horn Tucker, who never fit the team, and as we saw last season, was being misused because Frank Vogel couldn't deploy him as this on-ball defender that would be versatile, making shots, and play next to Russell Westbrook. 2 non-shooting guards will never work with LeBron James. So then they trade Russell Westbrook, or they trade, not yet, they trade Taylor Horn Tucker for Patrick Beverley. So basically, this entire time they could have just had Alex Caruso, including last season. That's neither here nor there. I made a mistake. One thing you guys didn't really mention, Pat Beverley, I said was a 40% shooter from deep 5 of his last 6 seasons. That number is 39%. This guy can make shots off ball, and he knows how to play within what he can do. He's not going to, not only is he not going to drop 25 points, but he's not going to kill you. He's not going to make a dumb play. And Russell Westbrook, like you said, Brandon, he's not the forgive and forget type. One thing, too, before that comment he made about Pat Beverley in 2019, 6 years before, he was trying to call a timeout near the scores table, and Pat Bev dive bombs into his knee and tears his meniscus. And, the Thunder's year was ruined at that point, so is next season. Russell Westbrook has reason to not like Pat Bev because since that point, his career has mostly been a disappointment in the postseason. And his career is 9-14 against Pat Bev. So Pat Bev has won more than he's lost against him. And oddly enough, for as much trash as he talked about Pat Bev, right now I think any basketball fan would rather have Beverley on their team than Russ because, like you said, Beverley is accountable. He will accept.
John, I want to ask you a question. Is Patrick Beverley currently right now a better player than Russell Westbrook? I think so. That one got John.
How do I word this?
Like I guess you would say he's a better fit for teams than Westbrook. But then again, if you just go through it, like, is Westbrook's style of play even an indicative of winning? And it's not. Patrick Beverley's is. You know what? I'm just going to take Patrick Beverley as a better player right now than Russell Westbrook. I think so.
I've disrespected Westbrook because his triple doubles do lead to wins, just not in the playoffs. The thing is, who's capable more? Russ. But when you have a star that isn't really willing to, Pat Bev, you can sit him, he can log GMPs and he won't cry. Russell Westbrook's ego gets in the way of some of that. Where if you want to have him come off the bench, I think Russ could provide a spark to this Lakers team that with Pat Bev in the starting lineup, all of a sudden LeBron and AD had the necessary support because Russ can man a second unit well enough where he's going to have turnovers, he's going to be chaotic, but against opposing backups, he can get the job done. I would rather have Pat Bev in just about 29 NBA teams. The 30th would be the Washington Wizards. They're an anomaly for many reasons. They would rather have Russell Westbrook. Every other team in the league, including the Suns, like if I'm Phoenix, I would rather Pat Bev.
Oh,
Same with
yeah.
Dallas, because those teams need backup guards that can score the ball. Westbrook's not very productive. Russell Westbrook, he has to go. Maybe he gets the John Wall treatment, but I think ultimately what happens is Darvin Ham's plan is to have him come off the bench. Whether or not he can succeed in doing that, where Russ has to accept, like, this is an all-time low for Russell Westbrook. He's talking trash about Patrick Beverley, and basically any basketball fan you now ask would take Pat Beverley over him in a heartbeat.
Yep.
And now he's Patrick Beverley's backup more. Now he's Patrick Beverley's backup more likely than not. Think about that.
Yeah. No, I agree.
That's a fall from grace.
Yep.
And I think for the Lakers, this move might be what's in their back pocket.
Yeah.
That Indiana move would be nice, but I don't know if the Pacers want to do him a favor like that, quite honestly. If I'm a GM, I would try to get every last asset from them. And that's why I'm like, yeah, I don't know if 2 first-round picks still would get them Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, because the Pacers might take less than another NBA team. I wouldn't be surprised just to not do business with a Los Angeles group that they would make an instant contender.
Well, you got anything to say about this move, Justin?
If Russ doesn't buy in, this will be a flop. But Russ has to buy in. You have to buy into your role. You have to accept it. At this point in your career, you should be just trying to win a championship. It's not it's we. So I think if Russ is all in and him and Pat Bev can coexist, magic can happen. But if it doesn't, Lakers will go down.
Do you think right now, Justin? Do you think Pat Bev is a better player than?
Oh no, I'm taking Pat.
You'll take Pat.
Yeah.
But let's be Russ is capable of much more as a playmaker.
You're 100% right. He can do a whole lot more on the court. But if I want somebody, a team player, somebody that I know can do stuff for the squad that's not just gonna turn the ball over 24/7 or airball me some threes, take unnecessary shots, I'm gonna take the more. I'm not gonna say well-rounded, but the better IQ on the court.
The winning player.
Yeah.